Yes, people. So just quickly before we get into the video, I just want to shed a bit of light on our community and a few of the guys that are doing really well in there. We've got a lot of girls who are making a lot of progress, but I just wanted to shed a bit of light on the guys because they haven't had much attention. These three people here are just making massive, massive progress. Two of the guys with the acne is that happened in a matter of weeks, and the guy on the left here, this happened over the course of 3 months. So you can see massive, massive differences in not only their overall strength and facial structure, the health of the face, but you notice in the biomarkers of these people becoming much more healthy, and you can see for a fact that these people are not only just getting bigger in size, they're not only clearing the skin, they're not only getting more fit and healthy. What they're doing is they're improving the biomarkers, and you can see it on the face. They don't look as unhealthy anymore, and people notice those kind of things. People can see it, and even if you don't really understand about biomarkers and things like that, you can still clearly see when somebody's unhealthy. So yeah, I just wanted to mention a little bit about the community because halfway through this video we're going to have a segment from one of our live coaching calls. This is exclusive content. People pay a lot of money to be in here and see these videos, so what we're doing today is we're going to give you a bit for free, just to give you a taste of what kind of things go on in the community and how that can help you and how you can succeed in our community as well. So hope you enjoy the video. Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about cheat days and how they affect you more than people like to let you know. So your favourite fitness influencers and bodybuilders may be promoting that you can have cheat days, that it doesn't matter what you eat as long as you eat within your calorie range and you're getting your macros in. That's all that matters. But basically today I'm going to be teaching you why that is not true. You've let yourself be convinced by these people that eating junk is okay, that eating garbage is fine as long as it's only 20% of your diet, as long as it's only one day a week on your cheat day, and it fits within your calorie range. Well, I'm here to tell you that these people are lying to you. At the end of the day, right, what they don't understand is that these foods, they're not compatible with the human body. They think that they can just eat anything. You think that you can just wake up, you can industrially process some absolute muck that is indigestible in the first place, and then you add a load of chemicals to it, a load of preservatives, sweeteners, additives, and when you add all these things to it, it becomes even more indigestible and even harder for your body to process. And you only do it on one day of the week, one little cheat day is okay. But what they don't understand is that this sets you back on a cellular level. Your body is not adapted to process these kind of things even one day a week. You don't think your body says, oh, it's okay because it's a Sunday, it's my cheat day. I won't give him a hard time this week digesting this McDonald's and all these packaged items. I won't give him a hard time this week. I'm just going to digest it perfectly for him, just like I would a piece of raw meat. So these people are basically convinced in their minds that you need all of this junk, garbage, this processed crap because they can't see their life without it. What they don't tell you is behind the screen that when they eat one of these things, they don't moderate it. They just binge on it, and then they would probably starve themselves afterwards. It's crazy, If you want your actual health to improve, then you need to cut out the stuff altogether. You need to cut out the processed junk, things that are pre-packaged, any ultra processed grains, anything with over 2 or 3 ingredients needs to go out of your diet. Animals in nature and humans alike, but we're going to talk about animals first. Animals in nature don't have cheat days because they only eat the natural food that they're supposed to eat. It's the same as humans. If these foods didn't exist in the first place, cheat days wouldn't exist either, It's only a concept because these people believe that you have to eat these foods because you've ate them your whole life, I've ate these for this long and I've been fine, and I'm kind of addicted to them, and I won't tell anyone that I'm hyper addicted and can't leave these foods behind and need them to function because my brain is so addicted. It sounds a lot like a drug addiction in that sense. They need the drugs to function every single day, even though it's making them more unhealthy. So the concept of a cheat day, why is it called a cheat day? It's because the food that you're going to eat is cheating, It's essentially bad food. They know it's bad food and they can't convince you otherwise. There's no way in the whole world that they could convince you that this food is good. So why are you eating it? Only because you're addicted. And why do you have to be addicted? No, you don't have to be addicted. Just like you don't have to be addicted to alcohol or drugs or any of these other bad things, you don't have to be addicted to food either. You have to remember that we're flesh and blood, we're human beings, we're not machines. You shouldn't eat food that is processed, handled, packaged and stored using machines. You don't want to eat food that has not come from nature. At the end of the day, most of the animals these days, and definitely all the vegetables, are genetically modified. So you're going to have some kind of issue with modification and some kind of issue with things not being completely natural, but we have always ate animals all our lives, and no matter how genetically modified the animals get, they are still animals. And just because the animal is genetically modified, it doesn't mean that we should eat genetically modified vegetables and processed foods because we've never ate them before. At the end of the day, before 10,000 years ago, agriculture wasn't even a thing. And before a couple of hundred years ago, most of the foods that you see on the shelf, if not 99% of them, like the non-meat products, didn't exist. And at the end of the day, what is the point in eating all of this food if it never existed before? Do you think that we're different now? Do you think human beings have evolved to eat Ritz crackers? I don't think we have. I don't think we've evolved to eat protein shakes. I think we're actually the same as we've always been. So if you want to accept mediocrity for yourself, if you want to be mediocre and just be like everyone else and just eat the processed food because everybody else does it and it makes them feel better, so it should make you feel better, right? But are you those people? Do you want to set yourself the same standard as every average person going around the streets? Do you think that every average person walking down the road is healthy? Do you think they have any idea about nutrition? Really? Most people don't. And when you do know the facts about nutrition, you actually start to move away from the mainstream nutrition advice, because there's no way that anyone could convince me that eating vegetables that didn't exist is part of any kind of balanced diet. What balance am I getting out of these vegetables when I can get every single nutrient from meat? What's it going to add to my diet? Fiber? Fiber's been debunked. I've debunked it so many times. Antioxidants. It's been debunked. They're actually antioxidants for the plant. They're not antioxidants for us. They actually become pro-oxidants for the most part in our body. What I can tell you is that humans have not really changed that much. We have degraded in health a little bit over the last 10,000 years since the start of agriculture. You know, our skulls and our skeletons have reduced in size. We have actually become much more unhealthy. Our dental most people's teeth don't even fit in the mouth anymore. It's just crazy. And these people will have you convinced that the food pyramid and that small amount of animal fat at the very top is what you need. And the base of the pyramid should be your grains and your legumes and all these things, because they're so healthy. You know, they've led us so far in society. So every time you cheat and eat these pro-inflammatory foods, your body has to readjust, and in particular your hormones. So your ghrelin is going to surge, your cortisol is going to rise, your insulin is going to spike, and your leptin signaling is going to become impaired. So all of these things your body has to readjust, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. You've got dopamine to consider and all these other hormones that are disrupted when you eat these foods, and also your sex hormones. Every single hormone in your body is affected by these things, and you know, the precursor to all hormones is cholesterol. And if you're eating this low fat food devoid of nutrients, devoid of cholesterol, then how are you going to repair your hormones? How are you going to actually optimize your hormonal health? So this shift, it basically disrupts your hunger signals, your mood stability, and your body composition regulation. Inconsistent eating patterns prevent hormonal recalibration and contribute to cravings, anxiety, and poor metabolic feedback loops. So everything about your digestive system, all your metabolism, your thyroid, your brain, in terms of anxiety, brain fog, all these things are going to get worse. And it's quite obvious that eating bad food is going to make you feel bad. And every time you eat these foods,
What I eat in a day
when
is
you've
a
been on a certain diet and
disgusting
you've
fat
cut them out for a
person
while, on your
who
cheat
is very
days, do you not
hungover
feel
after
really
a
bad
birthday.
afterwards?
So I did
If
actually have
you
some
feel
toast
so
when I first
bad
woke
after
up,
you've ate
but then
these
I fell
foods,
asleep
why do you
and
still
I
want
had
to
a
eat them?
Macca's
Well, it's
and then
only
I had
addiction.
a
You're addicted to the
few mouthfuls
chemicals,
of this
you're
cake,
addicted
but
to
it
the
wasn't as nice as I
hyper-stimulating
thought it was
taste,
going to be.
and you're addicted to the
And
sugar and the
then
salt.
I had a
So
handful
all
of
of these
pretzels
things aren't
later
really that
on, and
natural
then I
when it comes down
slept
to
for
it, and your
like
body treats them as a drug.
5 or
It treats
6
them as something
hours.
that it wants to
So
expel.
then when I got
So
back
even though it
up,
feels good
we
in your
ordered Domino's.
mind
I
for
had
that
some of the
small
chicken
amount of
nuggets
time, your
and
body is
then a
not
whole
going to feel good
half of
for a
a
longer
vegan
period of
pizza.
time, you know? These
So while
cheat
I'm here,
foods are
I just want to say
designed by
thank you
food
for
engineers,
2,000
people that
followers,
want to
and
design the most
also
stimulating
to
food
the
possible. And
lads.
they're also
A,
specifically
I'm not
designed to
looking
bypass
for
your
your
satiety system, you know?
unwanted
The thing that makes you
advice,
satiated and say, I am full
and I
now.
don't give a
And
fuck if you
this is
think I'm
for
disgusting.
a lot
So
of
okay,
reasons.
bye.
The food is devoid of nutrients for starters, so your body still craves nutrients even though your stomach feels full. But yeah, this causes dopamine surges and creates an addictive feedback loop. So every time you eat these foods, it becomes like an addiction again. I always relate it back to drugs because food and drugs are so
Right, so I'm
closely
just gonna
linked.
explain a
If you
little
look at
bit
the
about
FDA,
what's
that's the
going
Food
on
and Drug
here.
Administration. So why are those two things together? You know, why does food need drugs? Well, you tell me it doesn't. So the food that you are eating now, though, the processed packaged food, the pesticide-ridden grains, and all these other things, they are full of drugs, and they're going to keep you coming back for more and more and more every time, and you don't even realize that you're being drugged most of the time. I mean, you do, but you don't realize just how bad it quite is. So, yeah, you want to cut these foods completely out of your diet altogether, and then you'll have less problems overall. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go into the live coaching call from Sunday, which is all about cheat days, and it's going to give you all the information that you could ever possibly need about cheat days and why they're so bad. This is going to be around half an hour to 45 minutes of content, but our live coaching calls are well over an hour each. This call went for over an hour and 15 minutes, so we always run over the designated time, and it's really good because there's so many questions from the people watching and so many things that we want to talk to you all about that it always runs over. And you know, more information, more questions, more of our time, it's more value that you're getting out of this community. But just before that, I'm going to go through the community a little bit and show you some of the messages that people send and some of the resources that we have to offer. what the nutritionists don't want you to know about cheat days. So we hear our favorite nutritionist talking about 80/20 approaches to things, and having days where you just eat whatever you want as long as it fits within your calories. And no one has ever really ate like that before. Um, it's kind of a fact. It's all these foods, they didn't really exist before, 100 years ago, maybe even 50 years ago for most of them. And the amount of chemicals that they're putting into these foods are now more and more. The amount of preservatives, additives, and all these other things that they put into these foods make it so that your body cannot heal properly when you're consuming these kind of foods because it's always in, survival mode. Why just one cheat holds you back from transformation. So even if you're eating clean 80 to 90% of the time, the remaining 10 to 20% is enough to derail fat adaptation, block metabolic healing, and confuse your body's energy system. So metabolic regulation functions on biochemical precision, not averages. So when you're eating these foods, like I just mentioned, it's going to halt your healing process, mess with your metabolism. Your insulin's going to be up and down. And obviously, we've done a whole presentation about insulin and that you don't want to be spiking that, and you don't want to leave the fat adaptation stage. So you want to just basically be as consistent as possible, because the more consistent you are, the more you're gonna make the progress in a shorter period of time. Some of you really would want to get results in the next few weeks and months, instead of like it taking over a year. Most of these fitness influencers and stuff like that, you see their clients, they're losing like 1 to 2 pounds a week, and they say that's a steady weight to lose. But clearly, if your body can shed 13 pounds, 12 pounds of inflammation and bloating and stuff like that, water weight, then clearly you didn't need it in the first place.
This is why I'm such a promoter of all or nothing. You go cold turkey into the proper human diet and you never look back. Because my experience was, so when I was doing animal based, and this is also the case with a lot of people that experiment with carnivore and animal based, they alternate between back and forth, is when I was doing animal based, so I was eating my fruits, I was eating honey, some dairy, because I'm still eating some kind of sugar, and sugar tastes good and you can eat an endless amount of fruit. I could probably eat like 5 pounds of oranges easily in one sitting, right? I'm capable of doing that. A lot of people are too. So when you have that little bit of moderation in there, you can't control yourself. You don't know if it's going to stop at that moderation, if you're going to have a binge day, if you're going to eat something else, because it usually starts off with, let me add this little thing back into my diet, and then wait, this thing gave me a high, it tastes really good, let me add that back into. So then all of a sudden you're adding in these weird categories of foods into your diet when it's not supposed to be there in the first place. Someone asked this in the community earlier, and they were like, so I want to lose weight, how come I can't have lettuce, broccoli, almond butter if they keep me in ketosis, if they are, they allow me to lose weight? And the answer is, sure, you can lose weight on those things, but you will be nutrient deprived. Your hormones will be out of whack. The cyanide in the almonds, the broccoli that's so sulfuric, broccoli was a flower. It's not a natural existing vegetable. The lettuce that's been hybridized to be sweet, because natural lettuce is also a flower. Why would you eat a flower? So most people, they view it as, what can I eat that I can enjoy and still lose weight? But my approach is, I lure you in with the weight loss and the getting lean and the gaining muscle. But my main objective is to make your hormones and your metabolic function at its peak. That is why these nutritionists that don't know what the heck they're talking about, they try to, what is it? They try to what's the word? They try to enable their audience by saying, guys, I know you crave this thing and most dietitians tell you can't have it. Well, guess what? I'm telling you, you can't have the cookie. We're just going to make a diet version of it. I'm telling you, you can't have this hamburger. We are going to have the diet version of it. I'm telling you, get rid of all of that. It's completely unnecessary. It is peasant food. It is going to cause nothing but metabolic dysfunction. And the thing is with those diet foods, once you incorporate more and more diet foods, your body is not stupid. Have you ever noticed if you try anything like a protein bar, like a diet food, you want to have more of it? Whereas if that like one hamburger would have satisfied you. So when you go for the low calorie option, your body knows that it's cutting out on calories, so you get ravenously hungry. But on this diet, you're only allowed a specific group of foods, proper human diet, and that is all. And then when you get used to it, your mind doesn't even wander. So in my fatso days, I used to be like, okay, I just had this, but I also want this. I also want to eat that. This person in front of me had that. Now I can see the most tempting, delicious looking food in front of me. I won't feel a thing. I'll be like, you know what? I just want some more egg yolks. I just want some more oysters. Give me some more sashimi, and that's it. And those things, they keep you full and they keep your mind off of the food. And when your mind is off of the food, you feel more productive. You have more energy. It's not even just like weight loss related. It's when you don't have this struggle of food or eating the improper human diet that's bogging you down. It's like your mind has been set free. Now you're capable of doing more and accomplishing more. So it's not even just like, I lost weight, I look better. You feel better on an energetic, spiritual level, like a new, different person. And I genuinely think that being obsessed with food and eating is some kind of like demonic kind of black cloud over you, where you can't really focus on these goals. You can't focus on these dreams, these things you want to accomplish, because your mind is like, give me the food. And to be honest, again, in the fatso days, it felt like hell. It felt like I was in this prison of only thinking about food. And once that thing is gone, then all of a sudden you can accomplish all these other projects that you don't even know you have the mental capacity to do.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I agree with that. I think if in a natural world, you would be worried about food, but the thing is, when you eat this way, you don't have to be desperate for your food. Like these fitness influencers, they eat so much food. These bodybuilders, the people that are trying to gain all this muscle mass, and they end up gaining a lot more than just that. But all these people, they're just eating all of the time. They just rely on the food constantly because they're always out of energy. So they go to the gym for like, 1, 2, sometimes 3 hours, and they get back home, and you don't see, like, because they post the good parts of their life, but you don't see the fact that they sleep so much. They don't have healthy lives. They probably don't feel good in the morning. They need supplements to get going, all kinds of
When I
pills.
go into a gym and I see those like really built people, really muscular people, I just take one look at their face, sunken in eyes, collagen depleted skin, premature wrinkles, thin, balding hair. Like, sure, you have some muscles that you filled up with carbs and pre workout and whatever, but it's fake. It is, not natural. And when you eat the proper human diet, the physique matches the face. You look as youthful and young as your body looks. And you just reach this natural weight where it is attractive. You look at it and you don't have to kill yourself for it. And any
Yeah,
kind
for
of
sure.
physical exercise you do want to do, it's like you feel like doing it because you have all this energy versus traditional gym culture. You have to force yourself to go into a gym 5 days a week. You don't feel like it. You have to down caffeine. That's not the way. This diet gives you this natural energy where you're like, wait, I want to go do something. I want to go run. I want to go walk. I want to, do a little leg workout, whatever. I want to do some push-ups. You get the natural inclination to do it instead of forcing yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Since I've started doing this diet, like even some days where I don't eat or whatever, I'll just have like random bursts of energy all the time, and I won't be so tired unless I've ate like a really high fat meal. I don't really get like tired from the food, and even if you do eat all that fat in one sitting, then you just go to sleep, you absorb all the nutrients, and but yeah, I think these people they're not healthy, in any way. I've seen so many of these what I eat in a days from bodybuilders and fitness influencers, and these people, they always start off with pills, and they always, they'll just eat a crazy amount of carbs just to keep that water weight inside the muscles and just to keep big. But if they change the diet to something else, they'd go back to the regular weight, and you wouldn't be able to sustain it. They have to just eat a completely unnatural amount of food that has so many ages, advanced glycation end products, that are gonna age you, make you, like Drew said, wrinkles, poor hair quality and stuff like that. So yeah,
Oh, guys, I talked about this on my story and I said it was my grandma, but it was really my mom. So my mom and I, we went on a trip and we became friends with this lady. I thought she was a good 10, 15 years older than my mom. And then she says her birthday and she's only 2 years older than my mom. And then we asked about her diet and stuff. She's like, oh no, I can't stand the smell of meat, but I just love salads, the freshness. I love my fruits. I love my quinoa. So all these things that people say, she loves her nuts. She eats a lot of, olive oil. People say these are healthy oils. You should be eating these kinds of oils, but she doesn't like meat. She'll have some eggs here and there and her skin was so dry. And here's the thing, she said she's had tons of Botox on her face. Even with the Botox, she looks like a leather wallet. And another thing is there was this guy that made this like reaction video to Alex where he was like hating on the primal diet, whatever. So we decided to do some investigative work. Let's see how this smart man likes to eat. Let's see what he does to be so healthy since he thinks he has the authority to criticize Alex's diet, which is the proper human diet, guys. First, highlight in about like food. It is a plastic meal prep, microwave, little, skinny little plastic inside it with some rice, some steamed broccoli, some chicken, right? Next to that was a Fairlife protein shake, the emulsifiers, the sucralose, the artificial sugars in there, terrible. On top of that was a little package of peptides that he uses to gain the muscle because the food itself is garbage food. You're not going to get anything from that food. You're barely going to get any protein. It's overcooked. The rice acts the same way as sugar. You might as well eat 2 sugar cubes instead of the rice. The steamed veggies, he's going to be farting all day. I feel bad for his wife. And then on top of that, it doesn't end there, guys. It does not end there. He had a box of minoxidil on top of it. So he's going bald from how nutrient devoid his diet is. So he has
I
to
mean,
put
yeah,
on some cancer-causing minoxidil on his head to grab his hair, and then he wants to criticize Alex's diet when he has a full head of hair. These
yeah.
people are jokes. And I used to think, oh, if you're somewhat professional looking, you have a PhD, whatever, you should know what you're talking about. But the more you learn, you're like, wow, we've really been brainwashed into eating the most absolutely atrocious things that we should have never put into our bodies.
I mean, on that post, there's obviously a post about him on my page. I don't really get into like beef with people on the internet, but he was just like attacking myself and a few times like said things in comments and whatever. But Drew actually like left the best comment in there because he in the video said that for me to get a haircut because obviously he was looking at my hair and I think he
Oh
was
yeah,
jealous.
he's like, get a haircut, hippie.
So
Like he
so
can't even grow hair. It's like over here, it looks like armpit hair. Like the top of his hair is like so sparse, it looks like armpit hair.
right, we're
Yeah.
going in on this guy. I mean, we've had an argument with him, so but
Oh,
yeah, I
guys,
think
also question, would you like it if we did like little reaction videos? Like you guys send us reels of like ridiculous nutritionists and people like what I eat in a day and we like react to them and tell you what's wrong, what's right. Would
yeah,
you
we'd
guys like
actually do
that?
that in here because we don't really want to
Thumbs up
spark a
in the chat
response
if
from
you'd like
people.
it.
Yeah, we don't really want to spark a response from people, and we're not doing it to like get attention, but
We're
we
doing it
just
in the
like enjoy.
community only.
Yeah, we just enjoy to do it, and we think that people would enjoy like seeing other stuff. Online beef can be hilarious, yeah, but then people start,
Yeah, that's why we want to keep
I
it in
think
the
the
community
fans,
only.
I
Like you
think the
guys send
fans
it to
make it
us and we
worse.
like record videos. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah, these like NPC, like brainwashed nutritionists, experts, they have like 500,000 followers. They make
yeah,
one stupid video and then all their followers go and attack you. So we're not doing that publicly. We're just doing it amongst ourselves secretly.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, guys, also, I was like scrolling on Instagram. And so this girl, she comes up on my For You page, right? Like terrible cystic acne. The caption is forever, forever grateful to Accutane for saving my life. So, and obviously I looked at her highlights. She's unfortunately overweight, and you only get overweight from eating incorrect food. So it's the food causing the acne, right? She thinks Accutane. Her whole page is about skin. She sells an ebook on how to build the best skincare routine. She's recommending you endocrine disrupting, cancer causing chemicals in her ebook. And her entire page is about how Accutane saved her life. When we know that Accutane causes like birth deformities and other health issues that just aren't worth it. Like these people just, it's horrible, guys. We're so happy to have you all here, and we're so happy to have like a like-minded group of individuals that like get it, because the vast majority of people online just don't.
Yeah, I feel like the more you stop using these things, because all they really do is they target the symptoms, and they don't target the actual root of the cause of anything. And I think
That
all they're
just
trying to
makes
do
it
is make money
worse. They're
from
just
you, and trying to
suppressing a
make money.
symptom.
You'll see on you know this because right when parents refuse to get their children vaccinated, they get like harassed by nurses. You know, like a number of nurses and doctors. And I even saw a video recently where they wanted to take the baby away in the middle of the night. They came in, like they was all talking outside the door, and the husband was still awake, and they came in, he pretended to be asleep, and they started rolling the baby out to go and vaccinate it without consent. So they get so like weird because they actually get money from doing this stuff. You know, even the one in 2020 as well, they got lots of money from doing that. They had people setting up centers to make money. So it's all just essentially to make money. And money, you know, everyone needs to make money, but they lie and they cover things up. And at the end of the day, you don't need to rely on these chemicals whatsoever. You just rely on what nature provides you. Every chemical that you could possibly ever need is in the food that you eat, and if you eat the right food, it'll have higher levels of those chemicals. And yeah, essentially, but yeah, we've got so far off topic on this presentation. But if you want to say anything else, go ahead.
Yeah, basically, like as soon as you see that it's in a package, just know that someone created it to make money off of you.
Mhm.
Whereas raw red meat, eggs, fish, whatever, it's just, nature's. So like for example, the protein butters, the name some health foods, I don't know, rice, like all these like packaged things, there's a company behind it trying to profit off of you. And they're like, where can we cheap out? Where can we cut costs? But a cow is not thinking about how it can cut costs on you, it just exists, which is why the little cheats are not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, like if we were spreading this message to everybody, we'd tell them that your power is in your dollar. You know, where you
Oh
spend
yeah.
your money is the most important thing. That creates a demand and a supply. So if you put your money into small regenerative farms and stuff like that, then there'll be more demand for that. Then more supply comes as well. So you don't want to keep demanding these poor products and keep buying them and keep buying them, because then the market will stay the same and will always have this low quality, because people have such low standards these days. If everybody stood up and said, no, we're not taking this anymore, we're not eating this crap that you're putting all these chemicals in and packaged in plastic, and if everyone just stood up at once, it would go away, because society ran before all that sort of stuff. You know, our grandparents went out and they would get meat, they would get vegetables, they would get fruits, they would get everything they needed, and it would all be fresh and it would all be wrapped in paper, and everything was just more closer to the earth, like how it should be. So and they weren't eating these kind of foods like we're talking about here, the Randall cycle, all these foods that everyone just like puts together. They're just like putting all these different chemicals, and it becomes like a cocktail of just absolute nonsense. It just destroys your body, and your body cannot like break down all these different things all at once, because it has to produce so much like different bacteria, so much different responses to help break down all the inflammation that it causes and everything. Like it just makes you lethargic, completely lethargic. So whenever you eat these meals, you think for the 5 seconds that you eat that McDonald's burger, like because that's how quick you eat it so fast, and it doesn't fill you up whatsoever, but it just makes you feel disgusting. You get spots. It's just not good. But yeah.
And you need to understand that for the entirety of human existence, your body has never adapted to this Fairlife protein shake, to this green beet lentil acai bowl soup. These are all weird concoctions, and that is why cancer rates, diabetes rates, all these other things, they are skyrocketing higher than ever. And for the ignorant influencers that are like, oh, but I eat this and I'm fine, this applies to anything. Tell a smoker that gets cancer at 30 that, oh, but there's this person that smokes and they lived up to 100. How come they didn't get cancer, but you did? It's not fair. So why take the risk at all? Why experiment with it all? Why like think about things you want to cheat with and like, well, I'm just going to have this little, I want you to get rid of the idea of cheating on this diet completely, because you are only cheating on yourself. Your body every time, like you're fine now. Sure, you've had these junk foods before, you've been fine, but there's only so much your body can take before it shuts down. And we want to achieve peak optimal health, which is why I don't care about if I can, totally, I can tell my audience, guys, you know what? I know you love these foods, and I'm going to show you how you can be healthy and eat them at the same time. But I don't care for that. I don't care for lying. And that is why a lot of people are put off by it. That's why a lot of people hate this diet. They're like, what do you mean I can't have my smoothie, acai bowl, Oreo cookie, milkshake, vanilla every once a week? That's why they get triggered. And when you tell the truth, you get these hate comments and whatever, whatever. But to us, we could not care any less. And that is why we attract the right group of people like you who want to go all in as well.
Yeah, and I mean everybody. Like, I mean, I've seen so many people come in the comments and say, "Oh, I had a bad day today. I cheated," and whatever. We're not saying that that's like the end of the world. We're not saying that you're gonna die or anything because you had a cheat day. But the thing is, we want to promote the best standard possible, because then if everybody's achieving that standard, you know for yourselves though as well, because the people have come in and they've said, I did this, and then the day after I felt bad, I felt bloated, I felt lethargic again, I had no energy, I had brain fog, things like that. And all these things, it just comes back so quickly. You don't even notice it most of the time, but it can be an instant shift because you put your body back into like survival mode once again. And yeah,
Elizabeth.
yeah. So
Also,
everybody knows.
if you've had a cheat meal, if you posted in the community about how you messed up, how you did something wrong, I'm here to gaslight you. I'm here to tell you what cheat day. What are you talking about? You've been eating the proper human diet forever, since birth. You don't even like cookies. You don't even like dessert. I'm here to tell you, forget all of that. This is how you're gonna think now. This is your new way of thinking. This is how you're gonna look at cheat meals and whatever. It's just a thing of the past. It doesn't exist anymore. That is what we're here to do.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so metabolic conflict sparks fat storage. So when a cheat meal or snack enters your system, it doesn't just pause your progress, it actively reverses it. Carbohydrate consumption triggers an insulin spike and shifting the body away from ketogenesis. Um, so basically, it causes the storage of fat, which is obvious. We said about insulin levels and things like that, but it goes a bit deeper than that. All these different chemicals and all these other things play a massive part in this as well. If you even think about sweeteners, like a chemical sweetener that's in, so say like a Diet Coke or something, and you'll you'll see that it creates the same response in the body as sugar would do, but then the sugar is not present, so you don't actually get the energy from it that you would from having real sugar, you know. But either one is bad. It's hard to say which one's better. I think sugar is more natural, so I'd err on that side. But yeah. So your mitochondria, it said that before about the Randall cycle. They disrupt when you eat these foods together, these carbs and protein and too much fat and all these different things. It interrupts your mitochondrial function. So true cellular repair can't happen, and you get bombarded with oxidative stress and stuff like that. So it's important to note that if you do make any mistakes, you want to mitigate the response straight away. So if you've made a mistake in the afternoon, you'll go and get the ground in with the sunlight, eat a nice meal in the afternoon, a raw meal, or even just go through and fast if you don't feel like eating anymore. And it's important to try and mitigate those oxidative problems, you know, and get rid of those free radicals as quick as possible, so your body can start to function properly again. So
We want to remind you that every single bite you take counts.
yeah,
So if you're having trouble committing to the diet and you're just like, let me have a little bite of this, a little bite of that. No. Every single bite that you put into your body turns into what make up your cells. So you need to understand how crucial the things you're putting into your body is. So these low calorie drinks and aspartame and artificial sweetener, forget it all. Forget it all. It's raw meat only, raw egg yolks only, fish only. This is what you're eating from now on. And don't ever look back or have your eye out on anything you miss, because after a while of eating this way, you genuinely don't crave those things at all.
no, you actually don't. And the more consistent you are, the better the result is that you're going to get. You know, I've seen people come in, they say after 3 weeks, oh, nothing's changed. You know, I don't know what to do. I think I might leave. And you know, what do you actually? You might get a result in 3 weeks. And these people, we've got the 3 week course, and it's for weight loss, and it's a reset. That's all it is. It's a reset to get you in a good position where you can start to handle these things on your own. You don't have to follow the structure, because then your body starts to tell you what you need, and you start to crave the other things less. So 3 weeks is to break a cycle. It takes 3 weeks to break any kind of a habit or cycle and to start a new one. So that's why it's a 3 week reset. But you know, it's endless the amount of healing that you can get. I'm over 2 years, nearly 2.5 years into this, and I'm still looking for ways that I can improve my health all the time. And it never stops. You know, this journey that we're on. For whatever reason that we're all here, you know, we care about it for a reason. We're all in this live right now because we care, because we want ourselves and our families and everybody else around us, the people that we care about, to be healthy. And if we can set ourselves free and they can notice what you've done, you can make a transformation, you can change your life, you become more energetic, you become like a real person again, full of life. And they'll notice that in you, and maybe they'll, you know, think, well, I want to do the same thing. My parents are saying, you know, they're becoming more and more curious every single day. My mum said the other day, I saw her for her birthday, and she said, wow, like, I'm just looking at you and you just look so much more healthy. Like, your skin's glowing and your face just looks like
Aw.
really good and stuff like that. So obviously that's nice to hear. And everyone I go and meet, they seem to like, I get compliments, which is, it's good. And there was a stage in my life, especially like 2.5, 3 years ago, I didn't get any attention off anyone. I felt like invisible. So it's not just the attention, but it's just people want to interact with you more for some weird reason. And it's just crazy how like changing just a few things in your life and being a bit consistent and working with your body and not against it is going to change how you look in general. And the longer you do it for, the better you're going to look. No
And
joke.
we are genuinely so lucky to come across this diet.
Mhm.
Although right now it is gaining some traction or whatever, it's still a very small percentage of the health fitness niche out there. The
Yeah.
majority of people are telling you to eat the burnt chicken breast and the
Mhm.
salads and the, vegan, fruitarian, all this stupid weird stuff. It is a very small subcategory of people that eat this way, and we are genuinely so lucky that we're eating in a way that expands our lifespan, that balances our hormones, that heals us instantly. because the cooking itself, even if you're eating the best foods ever, the cooking itself has such a detrimental effect. So even learning about the effects and how we've been eating it raw for the vast majority, and how around the world it's very normal to have these raw meat dishes. Like the other day, Angela, she made that, what was it? Raw chicken kind of salad. And in Japan, it's like a delicacy that everyone eats there. It's like common to eat raw chicken breast with like egg yolks and a sauce. But in America, it's like, what do you mean you don't want French fries? What do you mean you'd rather have raw chicken breast? You know? So we're
Yeah.
genuinely so lucky to come across it.
Yeah, Finn just came back from Japan, didn't he? And he said that the raw food
Oh
culture there is
yeah.
like huge, and
Oh yeah.
everybody has really high IQs. They eat a lot of raw fish, you know. So, these things are obvious, and I think, yeah, what do you say? I think
Toriyashi.
to even find the diet is crazy, because you can kind of be deceived by what you see on Instagram. You see people liking this stuff, but a lot of that's only a tiny percentage of the whole population that you're seeing,
The
and it's
majority of the
your algorithm.
population, they see these lean bodybuilder people, they buy
Yeah,
their meal plan. The meal plan is this diet that makes you hate life, where you're starving, you always want to binge eat. And
yeah,
if you do lose the weight, well, you no longer have a period. Now you're infertile. Now your wrinkles are worse than ever. Your hair is falling out. That's just how the 90% of these people that are very dedicated to their health are living. And the only people that are genuinely healthy are people that are like far away from social media. Their culture hasn't been to, change or whatever. They still eat their traditional foods and they're still healthy.
Okay guys, thank you for watching. That's the end of the video. If you want to see the rest of the live call or learn any more of the information that we have, then go to the link in my bio and join the school community.